Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. And those of you who are watching on the replay, welcome in. We are going to go over kind of good content versus bad content tonight and just show you some examples of why our videos aren't converting and how to make better videos to actually make better connection. Because we all know that when we can connect with our audience, that's really when our videos start converting or at least getting people to our capture page. We might not always be making sales from our videos, and that's fine. Not every video wants to be a sales video because then we do come off too salesy. We're really wanting to create more of a brand. So we're going to go into that tonight. But just a little bit of an announcement that I want to make here in our group is that we are going to be bringing in some guest speakers. Like once a month, I like to bring in a guest speaker. So last month we had Travis, or was that this month? That was last month. He came in and did a lot of core values, which was an amazing. It was kind of our first class, like really first class, I think. Next week, this time next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m., we're going to have Gerald. He's one of our guys that's all about compliance. So if you guys watch him on TikTok, I can't remember his handle at the moment. I think it's like, uh, is that it? I think it's something different though. He changed it. Sound Living Money, I think. Anyway, I'll put it in the community. But so next week he's going to talk to us about compliance and being compliant with the FTC, which is very, very important. And I do think that a lot of people get away with stuff that maybe not is not compliant. And so he's going to come talk to us next week. I'm kind of excited because it's important to follow these rules, guys. I don't want anybody getting shut down. Okay. Then the following month, we're going to have someone come in and do some sales talking. And I'm also going to bring in just somewhat professors. Not so it's not just me. Tom is going to be doing some CapCut training in the next couple of weeks, I hope. Right, Tom? And we're going to have, I think, Latasha. Latasha is a wonderful South African member here. And I think she's going to be coming in and doing some of the strategies, foundational strategies for our South African friends. So that a lot of you guys I know are there, and it's really hard for you to be on at this late at night because it's like 2 in the morning. So I'm going to have her come in. We have a couple other people lined up, and we'll just kind of announce it as we go. But I would like to bring in, extra professors or extra teachers, so we have extra trainings for you guys because maybe you resonate more with somebody else, or they know more than me. I don't know everything. I know the things that I know from being in the Mastering Online Profit program and just being in this space for a year. But anyway, okay, without further ado, we're going to get into it. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go into the good content, kind of bad content. You guys can see this, okay, right? Yeah. And if you have questions, we'll ask questions at the end, okay? Okay, so what does good content look like and what does kind of not so good content look like? So, how to create videos that stop the scroll, build trust, and make sales. Okay, that's what we're going to cover tonight. So, this is what I say, and this might be controversial, but this is my opinion, but I also think it's very valid. Your video needs to answer at least three of these questions. Okay, and so if they don't, then that's probably why they're not converting or getting people to connect with you. Okay. So one of these things is you can ask, does it hook them in 3 seconds or less? Okay. So here on the right, I've got my on-screen hook, and we all went over this with SEO and hook training already, but having an on-screen hook is really going to help your audience, especially if they're just at work and they're not able to actually listen, they're reading it. Okay. So that's important to have an on-screen hook. So another question, does it show a problem or does it relate to something, okay, that they can instantly relate to? Because a lot of times, we're making videos and it might just be kind of about ourselves and we're not really helping our audience. It doesn't necessarily always have to be a problem solution, but it could be something very relatable, like a situation, or, you're doing laundry, you're making coffee in the kitchen, you're walking your dog. That's what I'm talking about. That's what people relate to rather than just being a talking head video all the time, okay? Another question you can ask is, does it build trust with emotion? Okay, because again, it's all about connection, guys. And if we're not connecting emotionally, then people aren't really responding. Okay, does it create curiosity? Is it something that someone wants to listen to more of? Is it something that's really short where they have to watch again? Okay, is it easy to watch? That's another question. Sometimes there's just words all over, and we're going to go into like what that looks like. And people aren't going to watch that. It's too much for them. It's just way too busy or too fast paced, or too much spinning. I've seen a lot of these edits where it's just like flashy, stroby, like almost stroke like, like it's seizure. You don't want that either. And then is the next step obvious? So these are the six kind of questions that I would ask myself when I post, or ask myself before I post. Does it answer or satisfy at least three of these questions? Okay. The next step would be an obvious CTA, call to action. Okay. All right, so we're going to go over a little bit of what not to post. Okay, so this is, I don't like to call it bad, but this is just how we're saying it tonight. How about not the best? And I did try to block the person who posted this. And again, I'm not here to poke fun at anybody. This is just for educational purposes. So I don't think these are anybody's content that's in our community. And by all means, if you know the person who posted this, again, this is just a teaching moment and it's nothing against anyone. So I did block it, but it just really shows what not to do. Okay. So why 99% of TikTok's videos get ignored. Okay. I think you guys can see right here what's going on. It's just insanely too busy. Nobody's reading this. Okay. TikTok is a face first platform. Okay. We connect with expressions, eye contact, and emotion. Okay. So if you're not showing your face and you've got words all over the screen like that, TikTok, well, one, you're losing the human connection. And also the algorithm might deprioritize it because it feels like it's just graphics, right? So that this video or this, again, these are just screenshots. So this probably was a video or maybe it was a carousel, but there's just way too much going on. So overloading the screen with too much text, people aren't reading this. It's overwhelming and they're moving on. Okay. So TikTok really favors simplicity. So just maybe one bold idea per frame. If the text is too dense, people just stop reading and they start scrolling. Okay, so that's one thing not to do. Here's another one you guys can see on the right. I see a lot of people doing this. They think they're making good content, but it's just, again, way too wordy. You can't see your face. Okay. So again, TikTok is about, you got to think of yourselves as like TV commercials. Okay. Because you're a marketer and that's what marketing is. It's about connecting with emotion. So when you think about Nike or you think about Hallmark and you see the guy running on screen, or the Hallmark family connecting on the couch, like it's music, it's emotion, it's stimulating that kind of connection. That's what we should be doing too. So I always say, if you can emulate a big time advertising type of agency like that, then that's awesome. But I think we aren't really taught this in our programs. We're just taught, yeah, just put words on the screen, right? So if there's too much happening, the text is all over the place. There's no like real visual focal point, right? So the eyes are the windows to the soul. You want to not cover your eyes. That's what people are looking at. The eyes, your facial expressions, okay? And you also want the video or the viewer to know what this is about. This, I get she's doing a sale, but again, it's just way too busy, okay? So again, no emotional connection here. There's no real hook. Okay, that's what we're talking about. There's no smile, there's no, sigh or raised eyebrow, no visual kind of expression on the face. So you're gonna lose that relatability right away. So memes, when you do really something short, they need to feel like something, not just say something. Okay. Okay, so we're going to show you some other ones that are just not very good. Again, and for the same reasons, you're going to ask these questions. Does it hook them in 3 seconds or less? Does it share a problem, or does it look, like a relatable situation? Does it build trust? No, none of these do. Is it easy to watch? No, not really. And is the next step obvious? None of these really satisfy those six questions. But you can see this one here on the left, and I see, that she does show one eye, which is fine. But I think this is probably her son. And, again, maybe she doesn't want to show her son. I get that. But you do want to make sure that you're connecting. So I definitely see that she's got the writing up here in the search bar, you don't want to do that. TikTok does not like it when you work outside of their margins. Okay. So you got to keep the wording in the frame. But right here, I'm looking and I'm not seeing the connection. So I would rather see if she's able to show her son, her and her son together. That's what would make a better connection, especially because it's going to be a mom. She's like, I've got a son too. She looks about my age, right? Too many words on the screen as well. And it's out of the borders. The one in the middle, again, I think there's 2 kids behind there, but I'm not really sure. You've got words up in the, in the search bar again, outside of the border. And again, you guys, these are just examples of what not to do. There's just no connection. People aren't reading it. And this one is really quite funny because I don't know if you can see, but there's a foot here. And I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit tacky, but maybe that's just my own opinion. But again, the words are in the search bar, and again, no connection, no emotional connection. Okay, let's see if I don't want to miss one. Okay, so let's go over what good content looks like. Again, these are just screen grabs. I'll go over a couple videos and share my iPad in a little bit, but you want to be thinking about feeling and emotion, right? So feel first, sell second. This is not the beginning frame of the video. This would probably be in the middle, but what I wanted to show you is why it works, okay? It works because it has clear, relatable problem solved. So not, you don't have to leave your 9 to 5. You can work from home. That hits hard for moms, especially burnout 9 to 5ers and people who want to start an online business, okay? So it's easy to understand, the message is there, but most importantly, you're not covering up the face. This is my friend. She does digital, faceless marketing. So it's not her, but you guys can find stock video and stock footage that show what your message is trying to convey. So, you can see that she's sitting on the couch, she's got her computer, her laptop, very easy to understand what's going on. Okay. Again, eye contact, calm facial expression. This builds trust and feels real. It's not overly produced without too many words. Again, good text placement, not in the border, not off the side of the screen. I know a lot of you guys do stuff in CapCut, which is fine, but just make sure when you bring it over into TikTok that you really look and make sure that the words are inside the frame of TikTok, because they do not like it when you have words on top of words or off the screen or in the search bar. Okay. So this was one that I did the other day. Why it works, okay? It's funny, it's relatable, POV, point of view. That's what POV means. Digital marketers be like, immediately connects with creators, people that also do digital marketing, because we always live in that, content brain. Like, okay, what am I going to do next? So here we are having dinner. I think this was Easter dinner, but my mind is always thinking like B-roll, but what's good about it is it's very relatable. It's showing the family, and like we talk about core values. When you're thinking about how to connect with your audience, you want to be demonstrating your core values. And one of my core values is family and being in a relationship with my husband or my kids. Like, this is the kind of thing people connect with, right? So that's something that's very relatable. It's visual storytelling. The viewer gets it without even talking. Like, you can see right away what's happening, right? Again, this is a screen grab. It was a little short meme of like 8 seconds. So there's a hook and there's a little micro story. We want to keep them watching to see how it plays out, right? Even though it's just a 5-second video, this is pretty powerful. Okay. It definitely reaches my target market, and it's whoever my target market is digital marketers. Okay. So that's why that one works. This would be considered good because, again, I don't have my words covering people's face and you can understand what's going on. Okay. Again, this is my friend who does faceless. This one, I would rather see the video be portrait mode, not horizontal, but for the sake of this example, you guys can see what's going on. It's very Hallmark-like. It paints a picture of time freedom, right? When everyone is sleeping or during the day, you're selling a lifestyle people want without selling directly. It's telling that story. You're getting that emotional connection. It shows a peaceful family moment. Again, equaling trust, equal relatability, right? The on-screen text is digestible, it's short, it's slow-paced, it aligns with the visual, it all goes together. right? It's also implying some curiosity. Viewers are wondering what this is about and what do they need to do to work from home quietly too. So this is the kind of content, guys, that's going to be better for you. It's going to be converting more because you're connecting. Okay. So we're just going to go through a few of more. This is a meme that I did. In fact, I used one of Nikki Pulse's. She's our TikTok toolkit lady that I have posted in the community. You guys can grab um, her trends. I post every Monday, and I think I'm going to run throughout the rest of the month. But she's got 5 trends in there every week, and I try to go through them and pick one that I think will work. And she tells you what to do and how to use it. So this one works well because I've got a lot of space above my head that's easy to write on, so when I or put text on, when I create a video, I always try to think of, kind of bulk space above my head so that I can put text. That's something to think about when you're making videos, right? It's and a lot of these times, I don't think TikTok likes showing when you're driving too much, but if you show maybe the ceiling more than you actually driving in the car yourself, but those tend to be okay. You don't want to be like holding the phone while you're driving. TikTok doesn't like that. But you can see, it's very relatable. I'm in the car, I'm just kind of having a thought, right? You don't need another program, you just need a plan. Instantly relatable. It feels real, it's authentic, it's a casual tone, there's no over editing. I have a clear CTA, just comment ready, right? Again, very easy to read. These kind of memes do well, okay? Especially when you have a trending audio sound and she shows you how to use it, which I appreciate. So I'm going to do some more of those probably this week. Okay, here's some other ones that I think you guys can see why they don't do well for the same reasons that we were just talking about. Again, not here to embarrass anyone. These are just teachable moments. But, a lot of times we're pressured to just post 3 times a day, just post to post, get it out there. And if you've listened to my trainings before, posting mediocre content 3 times a day is not helping you at all. So I would rather you post quality content, something that answers those 6 questions. Does it hook them? Does it show a problem or a solution and a solution or a relatable experience? Does it build that trust? Does it create curiosity? Is it easy to watch? Are the next steps easy to follow? Like, is there a CTA? And I think you can see that none of these satisfy those 6 questions. Again, just too many words on the screen, guys. Nobody's reading this. I'd rather, again, have you post just once a day something quality than, posting words on the screen and covering your face. A lot of this one here is up in the space bar again, search bar. And this one here on the right, it's just, again, way too much going on. You've got stuff off the screen, having words on top of words. TikTok does not like that. That's going to be considered not good content, so it's not going to push you out. Okay, so that's something to think about: is keep your words and your comments or your text separate from everything else. Don't layer stuff up. Okay. So these are some of mine. Again, I'm not the most amazing, but I'm just saying this is something to think about when you're making content, that you leave enough space for words. So you're not covering the subject. You're not covering what's going on in the screen, because people want to connect with what's going on in the background. They want to see what's happening because that's the connection. They want to see your face. They want to see whatever's going on. If you're not showing your face, that's fine. But you can see here that I'm at the lake, just having a quiet moment. And this is where I say, you guys, start filming your life. Get a tripod. Get a little tripod. You don't have to get one, but it makes life easier. Get a little tripod, and whatever you're doing in the day, set up your tripod, show moments of your day, because this is you're gonna be able to have B-roll. That's what we call it, B-roll. It's like behind the scenes kind of stuff, because that's what people want to see. Not every single video is going to be a sales video. Not every single video needs to be getting people to your capture page. We want to have what we call nurturing videos. And this one here is Easter. So always take advantage of holidays. Okay. Holidays are great. Anytime there's a holiday, make sure you're taking advantage of it, because TikTok loves that. Okay. Especially your audience too. So holidays are great. Show family, show friends, show fitness, whatever you like to do, show your passions. Okay. And yes, you can weave an opportunity if you can, but generally not every video needs to be that way. It needs to be a brand, right? We're setting up an overall vibe. We're setting up an overall feeling of who we are, what we do, what our core values are. That's actually good content. Okay. When you are posting a video and you've got, movement on the screen, like this was a guy moving through, he's, you can see he's metal detecting. And I try not to, again, to cover up the subject. And I know it's a little hard because your subject might be moving, but bold letters, something easy to read. I'm uplift, so I use colorful text on the screen, but that's all I'm using. I'm not using any more than that. It's very easy to read, and that's what we want. Our viewers are, again, very fast. They're scrolling. You got to keep it easy and simple and interesting. You got to capture their you want to capture their what they want to look at, right? Okay, so here's some more. Another one I've done is again, keeping it really clear, the text on the screen, not hard to read, very basic. You understand what's going on. You see my face. I'm not covering my face, right? Here, this one, you can see what's going on again. She's a little bit off the screen, that's fine, but you can see what she's doing. Excuse me. You can see what, she's on her computer, she's got coffee. Again, really good. And we understand what's going on. I like this content. Okay. Just a couple more and then we'll go over a couple other things, but I wouldn't put any more than this on the screen. Again, you can see the background. She's using the kind of text that has a little bit of a see-through, banner, which is nice. So it doesn't cover things up too much. This one I really, really relate to because of I'm an Etsy shop owner as well. So I know how much work goes into it. So you can see that, it's like, listen, working on your craft, doing e-commerce can get really time consuming. And how about swapping that out for some digital products instead, or digital marketing, right? So again, very good meme. Actually, this was a video that I did a screen grab of, but you can see what's going on. Okay. So let's see if there's any more. Okay, again, these are just ones not to do. Again, I think you guys can see why. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory, guys, but I know a lot of us are beginners and we're not quite sure. And probably a lot of these are beginners and they just didn't know and they're, still learning how to the functionality of TikTok. But you can see here, covering your eyes, unless you're faceless, I get it, but I just don't think that's the reason why. I think he just thought, I'm going to make a video and I can't really see what you're doing. And I'm not reading all that, right? It's just kind of boring. This, you got way too many in the middle here, too many words. You can't even read it. Words on top of words, not going to get pushed out. Same with this one. This one will not get pushed out because it's words on top of text, or, it's probably uh, a screenshot or like maybe a small picture, but then she put words on top of it and you can't read what's going on in the background. So TikTok's going to consider this poor quality, guys. Okay. So this is why I bring this up, because we know that quality matters and TikTok is looking and watching at everything we're posting. So it's important that we are posting quality over quantity. Okay. Okay, here's what I want to talk to you about duets. And I know some of you do them and there's nothing wrong with them, okay? However, duets tend to not do that well, usually. Maybe there's the one or two random ones, but they just tend to underperform, especially this year. And with this one here, she's got words on her face, okay? So again, I'm not connecting with her. And most likely people are really watching the person that you're duetting with. So you're kind of giving it over to them, really. So honestly, when I'm watching a duet, if I'm going to buy from someone, I'm probably going to watch or buy from the person who's talking. That's why I don't think they're that great. Okay. They look kind of like ads. They feel a little scripted sometimes or forced, especially when both sides are selling. You might confuse your audience. Well, who do I buy from? Right. There's no personal connection. Duets don't really let the other person shine. Like I said, it splits the attention, or the attention really goes to the person you're duetting with. And then people are more likely to go to them rather than you, right? It can kind of confuse the algorithm. TikTok prioritizes content that keeps viewers emotionally invested. So side by side talking heads, they don't always do that. Okay. And if sound and text overload, especially if people got audio on both ones, and if you've got talking and it's too loud, TikTok does pay attention to that. So if your music's too loud and you've got talking or vice versa, and it's hard to understand, it's not going to push it out either. Okay, so this is just some of the things that I wanted to go over. This is my last slide, I believe. This one, I'm really only wanting to show you because of why it works as far as branding. The branding on this one is really on point. because of the colors. The colors are great. Usually I don't say post about the program, but is for the actual sake of this example, everything's there. She's not covering up her face. You've got the model. Again, really good. Kind of looks like an ad, but the branding works. It's bold. The hot pink flowers with the lettering all really works. It's clean. It's not too much text to read. I probably wouldn't put more than that on there. That's probably the max I would do. But it does give you the benefits, like what the program offers, the strategies, income potential, and not just features, right? So there's some stuff in there. Lifestyle appeal. The image sells who you become, not just what you buy. This is aspirational marketing. Okay, so that's something we like to show too, and that's part of those 4 Fs, right? The family, the fitness, finances, faith. Any of that kind of aspirational marketing is what people connect with. That's the relatability. That's what we like when we're creating a brand, right? Clear identity of offer. So Digital Boss Academy, it says exactly what it is. There's no confusion. Again, this is more of a, I wouldn't use this too much, but once in a while, posting about what you do and the product you promote is fine. Just not every single video you want to do that, because then it becomes very salesy and not everybody's going to know what you're about. Okay. So I want to just share my iPad, and I'm going to go through just a couple videos that I've done to show you guys again, kind of like what good content looks like. And let me see if I can get my, okay, I think you guys can see that, right? Can you guys hear me okay? Tom, you can hear me, right? Okay, everything's good. Okay, so remember we talk a lot about core values, right? So one of my core values is leadership. So I'm just gonna play this video for you. Hopefully you can hear it. You may not realize it, but just showing up online, you're already a leader. People are watching you, getting inspired by you, and thinking, if they can do it, so can I. You don't need to be fancy, you don't need a big following. Leadership is built by just showing up and being real and serving your audience. If you're ready to turn your presence into profit, then stick with me and I'll show you how. You may not realize. Okay. So you guys saw how, I mean, it's just a quick little video on, capturing my life, what I do in my day, how I help people, and that was just on leadership. And it was fine. That's kind of a nurturing video. But I took little clips from what I do in my day. And I always say, if you can show yourself doing digital marketing, meaning like you showing yourself holding your camera, or your phone, you saw me sitting on my steps, that's exactly what your audience wants to see. They want to see what your life is like, what's involved. Okay. I'm going to play this next one too. This is just a quick story video, a transformational video. So core values, transformational videos, they do really well. This is the one I'm going to play for you. My name's Amy. I'm 49 years old, a proud mom of 3 college-age kids, and I live in a cozy little town in Ontario, Canada, where the winters bite and the coffee has to be hot. My husband, Tom, lost his job after 22 years, and we felt the walls closing in. So I dove into the digital world, shaky hands and all, and I figured out how to build multiple streams of income online, not with trends, but with truth. Now I help everyday people just like you build real income online with real heart. If you're ready for your comeback story, type yes below. Let's do this together. Okay, so I'm gonna just stop sharing my. Okay, so let me stop sharing this too. Okay, so you guys saw that last video. I know that's a little more advanced. You don't have to do that yet. I remember I've been in this a year. But this is the kind of connection that people want to see. Okay, you're sharing your story, you're sharing your lifestyle. There was nothing salesy about that last video. It was just, listen, this is what I do. This is how I help people. You saw a lot of my pastime. It was real quick how I did my story. You saw my kids. You saw Tom. You saw what I like to do. I did all that in less than a minute. Okay, and that's good content. I mean, again, you're not going to do video like that every single day, but maybe once a week, and maybe one every other day, you're telling a little bit more of your story. And I think we're going to go into that more next week. Branding and storytelling. Or actually, no, sorry, the following week because Gerald's coming next week. But that's what good content looks like. Tom's also gonna help you guys build a logo. I think a logo is important because you again branding yourself. You want to be recognizable, brand recognition. I think that's important. Some of you maybe don't want to do that, but if you do, it's going to be available for you. But I like showing that because again, just a voiceover. You don't really even have to talk to the camera. You could just take clips. So I always tell people start, especially if you're new, start taking B-roll, start taking footage of your life, little clips of your life, even if you're at a job you hate. Start taking clips of where you are at work. You're the healthcare worker, you've got your scrubs on, or maybe you work as a teacher, or you work at a desk job and you just hate it. Start taking clips of that because you're going to see that you're going to use that as your transformational footage when you're ready to make more of a transformational video, because people love to see where you are, where you're going, and where you've been and where you're going. Or that's fine, you can say where I am right now, and then have more of a aspirational, like, I want to say stock video of where you want to go. People want to see that, right? So that's pretty much my presentation tonight. But I really wanted to go over that with you guys because I do see a lot of people just putting words on screen, and you're missing the connection. You're missing out on the sales because if you're going to put words on the screen, keep it minimal, okay? And try to put it above your face or below your face, and then maybe at the end it can cover. But you really want to make that emotional connection, and that's through facial expression and your eyes and your smile and your gestures and anything like that, right? And was it yesterday that I was talking about, little hacks? Jamie gave us some hacks about being comfortable on camera, holding an anchor, or I say fake laugh before you post. But again, you can also just set up the camera or phone wherever you are in your kitchen making coffee and just do some of these short memes, okay? Because those shorter videos tend to do very well right now because, again, that watch time is short. So people are more likely to watch it all the way through if it's only 8 seconds. That's going to help push your video out, okay? So, are there any questions on any of that or comments? Do you guys want to raise your hand? Because I know we have quite a few people tonight. Is there anybody that wants to ask a question or no? So again, I'm just amazing. I know it's kind of short tonight too. I want to keep them short so I don't want to take up all your time. But that's what I see a lot of, especially when I do audits for people. And I want to help you guys. So there, hey Michelle, I see you. I want to help you guys because I want you to be successful. And I think a lot of our programs don't really teach, what that connection is, especially if we're not doing talking videos. Talking videos are great, but a lot of the meme ones that we do, they're not connecting. And we're thinking that it's good, and we're just posting to post because we're told we're supposed to post 3 times a day. And if they're mediocre and you're not getting engagement and your watch time is terrible, that's telling the algorithm that it's okay to just they're not going to keep pushing you out. They're like, oh well, she doesn't really mind that her content's there's no engagement, there's no, connection. All right, we're not going to push her out. So that's why I say rather you focus on answering those 6 questions, right? And again, this is recorded, so it'll be in there later if you guys want to watch it again. Um, but yeah, does it capture their attention, right? That's what you got to do. Does it solve a problem? Can you answer that problem? Is it a relatable situation? Does it build trust, that emotional connection? Really, that's what people want. Think of yourself as a big brand, right? Does it create curiosity? Again, not all of these have to be satisfied, but at least 3 of these questions I would answer yes. And if that's the case, then I would say it's probably good. And then keep watching your data. If after like 3 weeks you want to look at all your data and see, hey, my watch time's improving, or, I'm getting more engagement, or, whatever that is that looks like improvement, your stats are improving, that's good. That means you're on the right track. If it's not, then yeah, we need to reevaluate. What do I need to work on? That kind of thing. And that's where you can reach out to me or Tom and we can work with you. Okay. So yeah, those are the 6 questions that I would ask. Is it easy to watch? No more no more tons of words. People don't, they don't care. They're not looking at, you know, um, all the stuff in the program. Nobody cares about that. They really just want to connect. And if you are showing that you can transform and that you're aspirational to them or inspirational to them, that's what they love, right? So inspirational videos do really, really well. Those are great because people want to be inspired. If you can talk about things that inspire you, or people that inspire you, or things you've learned along the way, that's all really good. Okay. All right. Again, any questions?